All right. It's my first time making a video for YouTube. A little nervous, so I'm just trying to figure out how I'm gonna do this. So just give me a second here. Okay. Um, I'm gonna talk about today is programming and indoctrination. So, um, from the moment that you're born, you already pre-programmed, um, and you're already indoctrinated into something that you uh, have no clue about, that you just practically go with, uh, which is society, society, and the rules of society, and how to go about living in society, and to just go along with what society has to offer to you as a human being. And throughout the years, since I was born, uh, you know, my mom, my dad was, incarcerated, throughout my whole life, and my mom has taken care of me. So my mom, for no fault of her own, had pretty much followed the same trend as everybody else. It's pretty much, teaching me how to live in society, and just follow the trend of like of what everybody else does. Um, and so, her teaching me that, and me following, what she, her direction, what she says, I just pretty much went on with the trend and thinking that, okay, well, this is what it takes to become a person in society. I mean, a human being in society, and to go along with the trend, and to be successful and be accepted. Um, and so I did that. Never questioned anything. Never had any thought pattern to even wonder, how it is to be on the other side of things. Meaning, how things really are. I mean, how things really is. Sorry. Um, and as I got older, you know, um, I started coming to my own, and uh, started to figure some stuff out. And a lot of the stuff didn't make sense to me. You know, and even to this day, it doesn't make any sense to me. You know, why is it that us human beings on this planet think that when you get up and go to work every day, and you work hard, and you pay your bills, that that's the way to live? I'm just trying to figure it out still to this day. Uh, you only have you don't get to live forever on this planet, right? And the thing is that your time is taken from these jobs, you know, away for however many hours you're gonna work a day, like maybe 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, maybe even 14 hours a day, right? You blindly just work, right? And you feel like once you work hard, you'll get rewarded for it, right? And you continue to live, right? You don't question anything, right? Um, for a long time, I thought the same thing. I thought that going to these meaningless jobs, working these 9 to 5s, these 10-hour jobs, these 12-hour jobs, I thought that was the way to live, man. You know, and because of me being pre-programmed and me being indoctrinated into this, it has me in a level of scarcity, fear of the unknown, and what direction that I want to go into, uh, because of how this is designed out here. Um, I sat here multiple times. I can't even tell you how many times I've sat here and thought about, um, why is it that this lifestyle that we live, you know, causes a lot of stress, causes a lot of stress, causes a lot of sickness, causes a lot of unhealthy things in your life, you know, and just make you be in this particular box that you have no control over. Um, Ever since I was a little child, even being pre-programmed and indoctrinated, I always thought in my mind like this is no way to live. You know, I never shared anything with anyone. I've never uh, fit in with the crowd. Although I may do things with the crowds that I'm in, right? I go with with their settings because they don't know any better, right? But I always didn't fit in with these crowds, man. You know, I just never really. Uh, I felt like that wasn't me. You know, and I always had this guilty factor, even to this day, as I'm talking right now on this camera. I still feel like I'm not worthy, right? I don't have any value because I'm not working at a 9 to 5 job. I'm not working a 10 hour shift. I'm not working a 12 hour shift. I feel like I'm not worthy. I'm not a person that has has basically um, what's the word I'm trying to use? Um, Basically being rich at heart. You know, because I don't have these things, and um, every day, more and more each day that I know this, that I know for a fact that I have value. I know that I'm worth something. I don't know what that something is, but I'm worth something, and I'm here to make an impact on this planet, but not serving it that traditional 9 to 5 way. You know, I don't know what that something is, but I know it's something different than that, right? I don't want to live a stressful life. I don't want to know where the next meal is going to come from, or the next this is going to come from a 9 to 5 job, right? I know there's other ways to make income, right? Um, and it's just about going about it and figure out a way to have it come in, right? Um, um, I have other things that I know about how things are on this planet that I'll share on future videos. But for now, we're gonna stick with this. Um, but I just know there's other ways, right? There's other ways um, of having an income, but it's just not that particular way, right? Um, and so, me as I speak today, right? Obviously, um, I'm not employed. You know, I'm not having to get up every morning to go clock in at somebody's job and fill their pockets up, and I fill my own and be satisfied, right? I'm not in that mode. You know, I used to be, um, but I'm not anymore. Um, and it's just so crazy how um, how you can feel how you feel like when you don't have a job, you're not worth anything. You're not worth shit. You know, and all of this out here is by design. You know, it's when you sit back and really really think about how things are on this planet and how things are with the system that's put in place. It's not never put in place to make you get ahead. You know, you always would get fed with this and that to just do enough to survive. Do enough to makes you happy, right? the traditional way of, yeah, you go to job, you go to work, and you work, 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week, and even sometimes 60 hours a week, just to survive, right? Survive, right? And you feel happy from your efforts, and they pay you, right? And you're excited, but you never think about what could be done outside of working at these places. Um, when we only get 24 hours in a day, right? And we got to make the most of that every day. But when you get up every morning, you commit yourself to getting a lot of those hours taken away, depending on what your shift is at a job. And before you know it, when you get off at that job, you may want to go hang with the coworkers or whatever, quote unquote, and you have drinks or whatever outside of that, or you go home or whatever, and you have like little time to do anything, and you get up and do it again. You think that's a fulfilling life? I'm here to tell you, it isn't. You know. And again, I know I'm gonna get a little hell. I'm gonna get some flack. I'm gonna get some people who's gonna sit here and argue with me and tell me that I'm wrong, and they'll fight this to the death. You know. And hey, you feel how you want to feel, right? It's not gonna change my stance on what I feel. Because I don't have this, right? Even when I did have it, I still always had questions. I always wondered, like is this life? Is this life? You know. Um, And again, I keep circling around to the same thing, and I come to the conclusion that this isn't life, right? I don't have to have the fancy cars, the fancy jewelry, the fancy clothes, none of that shit. I don't have to have none of that, you know, to be happy, right? I'm a very simple person, you know. A few possessions here, a few possessions there to get me through the day or whatever. I'm content with it, you know. Money doesn't make me who I am, you know. And for a lot of people out here, money makes them, right? Money makes them, you know. And so, uh, me, I'm very much at peace, you know. You would get people here sitting here saying, "Oh well, yeah, he don't have anything. This is why he's talking like this." No, it ain't that. No, it isn't that at all. I just know for a fact this is not the way to live. And I don't want to spend the rest of my life being trapped in a box to be happy, quote unquote happy. And so I rather do other things with my time. Whatever it is, I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet, but I will. Um, and so, you know, again, yeah, I'm in this. I'm on this planet. I'm surrounded by the system, right? I'm plugged in, right? But in my head, I'm not plugged in. I'm unplugged. You know, I've been unplugged for a very long time in my head, right? And you know, I've been very stagnant off of fear of what may happen to me, right? Uh, so I've been. I'm gonna share some things with you guys on this first video, right? That I'm wrestling with even today, right? In my head, that I got child support. I got a daughter. It's almost 16 years old. Right, I got child support that I follow by with these quote unquote courts that if I don't comply with child support, I can get locked up, right? And and if I don't comply, again, like I said, I get locked up. Um, I'm wrestling with my head all the time, like, man, if I don't do this, I'm gonna go to jail. Right? Let me just do this and do that, right? Because again, they have ways of making you conform, right? That's if you choose to, making you conform into these particular type of rules that they have out here, right? But as for me, I'm I'm at peace. I'm not feared. I'm not fearful of anything, right? Because again, it's all a scam. It's all part of the game, man. You know, it puts you in this tired scarcity, uh, you know, way of doing things. You know, and I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid at all. Um, and it's just one of those things that the more that I see how stuff is out here on this planet, and how the system is, the more I pull back. The more that I sit here and look and I say, I get it now. This is part of what they want you to do. This is part of how they want you to be sick. They want you to be in this continuously, right? Like you have no other way out. There's no other outlet, and it is, right? And I'm so at peace that if I don't do anything to keep my child support payments up, and they throw me in jail, I'm at peace with that because therefore, again, I don't have to conform with what you guys want me to conform with because of the way the system is set up. Because it's all about money. It's all about money, right? They can give a damn about how you live. As long as you're paying that money, it's like a get out of jail free card, right? And that's what they want you to do. And so for me, I'm not part of that crew. I'm not part of that crew at all. And so, again, you know, I'm content. And I'm very happy and I'm smiling. I get up every day with a smile on my face. You know, don't have a plan on what I'm going to do next, but I'm going to figure it out, right? But all these things that I used to be fearful of, I'm not fearful anymore. I'm not fearful anymore, you know, because it's all a scam, man. You know, uh, so um, again, it's my first time on here. You're gonna make it my very first YouTube video. Um, but I mean, that's pretty much what I have to say. Um, let me know if you guys can relate to this. You know, I want to have different conversations for different things. I don't know. That's just I get on here and just talk. You know, whatever I decide to talk about today is what I'm gonna talk about. But just let me know if you guys are in the same predicament that I'm in, and very content with life, and know for a fact that this is not the way to live, and there's something else out there. Um, y'all stay tuned for future videos, and as I go on with this, hopefully I get better at what I'm trying to say, because I want everything to free flow and um, be very cordial with you guys, and just let it come from the heart, because I don't like to fabricate anything. And so, you guys take care, be blessed, and stay tuned for more. I'm gone.